Hi guys, Roman's here. I'm the developer of a Timeflow game, and today I want to show you what's new we got you for the new upcoming 12th version of the game. It's a little bit smaller update than the one we got a couple years ago, but a lot of inner guts were revamped to make the upcoming multiplayer game possible. So today I want to show you what exactly we got. We're gonna start from the very beginning, and when you click a new game, you consider to have a currency value. Just to remind you, you can change it to basically any kind of currency, whichever you have in your country. You can also click these buttons to place it either before or after the value. And what was changed, that the previous versions you could have these numbers only 5, 10, 15 and so on, but now you can put basically as low as 1 and as high as thousands. You can tap or click here, you can type any value. So I guess I'm gonna put just the minimum $15, and again, that just for the sake of the demonstration. These numbers, they don't affect the game balance, so that means every single number in the game gets the same direction. So basically you're not making the game any harder or easier here, it's just more for your convenience. Okay, let me put it 15 here. What's next? That some people, they play like in large groups, more than 4, so you can click 3 dots here and put like an entire soccer team to play, and you can have as many computers here, and right now I'm just going to use one person just to show you all the new features. Then the character creation. I guess here the biggest, if I can call it biggest change, that the fact that the Steven came one of the most favorite characters. In the previous versions it was one of the hardest difficulties, but when people start one of the hardest difficulties, they obviously have a lot of frustration, so the game isn't forgiving. You can get like bad events starting the first day, have lots of bad habits, you have lots of bad events, not so many good events. So basically, since this guy was one of the most popular, I lowered his difficulty to the lowest, and now when you choose the character, you can see the difficulty value. The game has easy, medium, hard, special, and hardcore difficulties. And when you finish the game in one difficulty, the game asks you, would you like to keep playing with the increased game difficulty? I'm gonna start with Lana, since she has like lots of cash, and I would need some cash, to show you some new game features. All right, and just to remind you that hop here on the button, and you can swap between European, Asian, Black, Latino avatars. Alright, so the next feature is a big one. It's the fact that now achieving the dream has its benefits. A brief history of what was the game Dream. The very first version of the game, when you bought your dream, that basically meant that you won the game. That's it. So then I added a little bit more requirements, such as you have to have enough free time and your cash flow has to be higher than your expenses. Then I realized that the players, they keep playing just for, for their enjoyment, and they don't finish the game until they buy the dream. So basically not buying a dream was a guarantee that you can keep playing. So after that, I added difficulty levels. You can finish the game on one difficulty level and keep playing at the next difficulty level. But that basically meant that there was just one dream. So if you bought one dream on the easy difficulty level, that wouldn't make it any harder to keep playing on a higher difficulty level. I divided each dream to 3 parts. So that would be easy, medium, and hard. And in this case, you can buy, say, a big city apartment. That's an easy level. On a medium level, that would be a big city townhouse, and on the hardest level, that would be a big city detached house, and pretty much the same. And I guess the easiest, just a suborbital flight, it's on an easy level, then orbital flight on an ISS on a medium level, and fly around the moon flight on the hardest level. When you start the game on an easy level, you get this dream. Once you achieve it, once you bought it, and once you succeeded on that level, you can keep playing with the increase of the difficulty. Getting back to how you can beat on your achieving the dreams early. Each dream now has its unique consequences. Say if you travel just one country, it basically reduces your stress. It acts like a huge vacation. It boosts your mood, it boosts your morale, it lowers your stress, reduces your stress. A wealthy child, once you bought this dream, that means that you set aside this money toward your kids, so you won't have to spend during the game on the kids' education. This you got covered, so you can focus on doing something else. The next is Red Ferrari. If you get it, your networking skills will increase, so you can kind of get new connections by being an owner of a collectible car. Downshifting means that first of all, your stress will be reduced. It counts as a long vacation, but also it sets you free of your bad habits or addictions. It not only sets you free from these addictions, but it also prevents you from getting it during the game. Lakefront Cabin, basically it works as a pre-vacation. Now in the game, vacationing helps a little bit differently. I'll get to it later. Buying a known place where you can spend your vacation allows you to vacation there for free. Big City Apartment works as your residence, and this is something new that we added to this new version. I'm going to get to this later. Just in short, in the game, in the basic game, you can have three options for your residence. That would be modest, common, and luxurious. Big City Apartments is a dream that extends this to elite and top-notch residences. Making music video, that basically makes you a local Taylor Swift. You can increase your blogging. If you decide to be a book writer, you're going to make bestsellers. The Planet Research can bring you peace of mind that you brought something good to this world. Acts as a charity, and charity in the game allows finding new, very important and very rare connections, which again can boost your further business and real estate opportunities. Suborbital Flight acts celebrity, increase your blog and become a successful book writer, also boosts your mood and reduces your stress. Owning a private island is another option to have free vacationing. I will just choose travel one country. So now, if you didn't know that we're on the selection of the game board, you can swap between our previous game board, like a Eastern European country, like a big city. Also here, you can choose between different schemes for your balance. Again, it doesn't affect the game, but you know, you can have fun having different skills here. So when you start a new game, the first thing that you can see that there is a new button, and right next to make a move button. Now you can make like an exact move, and if you click here, you can see that highlighted cells where you can go and you can select one of them, and say in this case I'm going to select an opportunity. This distance where you can go, it depends on the character's age, and when you start you take like short turns, and that means that during 1 year you can make approximately 27 turns. When you start aging, the distance increases. Right now the character of 30 years old can move from 1 to 7 cells. When you get older and older, like 40, 50, 60, this move distance will keep increasing. That means that during the year you can make less and less moves, which basically means that when you age you can get less things done than you're young. So getting back to the exact move, this feature allows you to land on a specific square. You think, all right, I have to take a vacation, so I have to go here, or I have to get a new opportunity, so you go here. You can keep doing this with no consequences for a while, and let me show you what happens when this counter gets to 0. You can still take these turns, but just one thing, there will be consequences. Out of 3 exact moves, exact move will lower your move. So how it works here, you see that the character's mood is 4.5. So if we take one exact turn when we don't have any 3 exact turns left, boom, the character's mood just decreased. If you keep doing that, the mood is lowered, one of the lowest possible settings on Edge. That means that lowering your mood even more will make the character burn out. It's a bad state and you have to treat it. We don't want to do that. When your mood is lowered, you cannot take any exact turns anymore. So that's a limitation, and you have to boost your mood somehow, say by just wasting time or by doing something good. And when your mood is increased, only then you can keep going. So now you see that the mood is now higher than that. It's still bad, but you should be allowed to take exact turns, but for some reason you cannot. If you click here, you can read it. You cannot make an exact move close to happening red square. So I just remind you that there is a happening red square right here, and one more half a year after. This feature won't allow you to skip this red cell. This feature doesn't work when you're close to this red cell. Hope and pray that you're not gonna get there. So once you pass this cell, you're free to make an exact turns. When this number restores, you're given some amount of exact turns for each year of the character's life. You can buy additional free exact turns. It's not necessary, you won't have in the game much, but you're free to do so. And the amount of exact turns depends on your difficulty level. On an easy difficulty level, you're given 3 exact turns per year. On a medium, 2. On a hard, 1. On a special and hardcore, no free exact turns. This feature is available from the start on an easy level, and you have to get some time management education to get it available on higher difficulty levels. Okay, so now let's see what exactly new feature stress and mood means. So you can see that the character has mood, not just 2.5, but also it's 7.5. So if you click here and scroll, you'll see that your current mood is bad, 2.5, and the limit is 7.5 out of 10. Current time penalty for a low mood is -25, but if you make it all the way to 7.5, the maximum you're gonna get would be 40. How it works? In previous versions, the maximum was just 10 all the time, so you could get there no matter what. And now the mood limit depends on the stress. So stress is something that used to be in the game for a while, but before that it would affect only how low your mood would fall in case of any bad events. So if you're stressed really high, any bad event would drop your mood really low. If you click the stress, you can see what exactly affects the stress. Say the character has a TV addiction, it's a bad habit, but it reduces the stress. Any kind of activity such as work, business, real estate, all of this increases your stress. Here you can see that we are playing in a difficulty level that reduces the stress, and if you reach the higher level, you're gonna get penalty instead. Having a family reduces the stress, that helps. Okay, the next thing I want to show you, it's the idea of residence. Each character now from the beginning has housing, and if you click on expenses, you'll see that this character has common residence. So what exactly means common, modest, comfortable? I was thinking, how can I add different kind of residences, since every country has its own standards. Say in one country living in an apartment is totally fine, in another living in a detached house, it's like bare minimum level. In another country, it's like having a townhouse. So instead of sticking to very specific housing situation, I thought about having just an idea of would that be modest residence or common residence or comfortable residence. Depending on that and depending on your family size, living in a modest residence can be either fine or cramped. At the same time, living in a comfortable residence can, for a single person, totally fine. So after the beginning of the game, if you get on the new cell, the game will tell you how the character feels the housing depending on his residence size. And here you can see that regular housing, your residence, is just the right size of the family of your size, doesn't affect the stress. And now if you go to stress, you see that it doesn't affect at all, nothing's here. But what you can do, you can click on the housing on the residence in your expenses tab and quit it. And now the character doesn't have a place to live. So again, if you get to the new cell, it'll say you have to find residence. You don't have a permanent residence anymore. You're not homeless out on the street, but you have to find a new residence. So now if you land on a blue cell, you'll be offered yet another residence. Modest, common, or high-end. In each case, you can buy or rent. And what happens if you won't do it? So again, if you click on stress, you'll see not having a place to live raises your stress a lot. Here, if you cancel, your mood will keep falling and falling. So again, you can keep playing in this case, but it won't make your life easy. Now, when you get to the blue new cell, the game will recalculate given the size of your family. Your residence is rather small for a family of your size, raises stress. That's the feature of stress. And what else can you do here? You can temporarily decrease it by taking a vacation or by taking proper education, say workshop of how to stop worrying and start living. Or you can take motivational workshop and increase your income for a short amount of time for just 6 months, and after that it vanishes and you have to take another one to keep it going. Here, one more feature. If your character is like on time, the game will offer you to save time either on yourself, on a spouse, or on kids. If you save time on yourself, it will give you pretty much a lot of time, 15 hours. The downside, it's gonna raise your stress, or in this case, it's gonna prohibit your rest time management skill. So let's just choose save time on kids. It will free up 35 hours a month. Let's see what happens. First of all, we got plenty of free time, but at the same time, if you go to stress, you'll see that save time on kids raises your stress a lot. So your maximum mood level was just lower. And if you decide at some point that it's not worth it anymore, you can always go back to your time tab, find this save time on kids, and stop doing that. If you decide to start saving time on yourself, on a sleep, the game will automatically see that finally, if you have enough time, your character will stop doing that. One more convenient feature we added. Now you can see what exactly affects your income from a business, salary, and real estate. If you click on the income, you'll see that these extra $900, they come from the fact that you have an account that will help you to save money, and your workshop business cliches plus 5% in this case, so total of 15%. The same if you go to your salary underscore, and in this case just the account that helps you. It's helpful especially when you're in a late game, when you have tons of workshops, lots of economical sector events happened, and this number can change drastically. And now you can always see what exactly affects your income by just clicking on it, and it's very convenient. So now our character has a rest time management skill, so let's land on the weekend square and see what it can change. Okay, summer holidays. What you can do, you're offered to spend your time during summer holidays. You can choose not to rest and just get a little bit more free time, just this Or you can choose vacation for free, just take a short weekend getaway. Or you can take your entire family for a trip. In this case, you're gonna pay something and you're gonna need some money. What'll happen if you choose that? Well, you'll see that your stress was lowered. These holidays, they reduce stress a lot, and that helped you, first of all, to boost your mood, but also increase your mood limit. This effect will stay for several months, and the more expensive vacation you take for a longer period of time, this effect will stay with the character. Okay, what else we got? Let's try to take several jobs. Let's just become a street promoter here, and then let's become like a trade agent. It used to be that there were no limits of how many works you can have, but now there is 3 jobs maximum. But now you can look at the balance and see that the character has a strong lack of time. It's minus 174 hours, and now you can see that there is a penalty of time. So what's the penalty? If your character doesn't have enough time, you're gonna get fined by the end of the month. Players used to complain that they were saying, hey, I have a positive cash flow, but when I cross the month line, all of a sudden my cash gets lower, or sometimes, even gets into bankruptcy. What was happening? So this fine for the penalty of time was shown in a game log here, but now I added it to the game balance so it would be, more visible. This value is calculated based on your income and your lack of time. So you can see that the character's income is 18,000. Because of lack of time, you'll be fined by 12,000. But your cash flow is 9, so that means that in the end, get even less money than you have now, so you have to be really careful here. This number for how much you're being fined, it depends not only on your income and the amount of time, but also on the difficulty level. So on the easy difficulty, the amount is 100%. When you go higher to a medium level, that would be 150%. So you'll get fined not by 12,000, but by 18,000. Hard difficulty, that would be 200, so you'd be fined by 24,000. And it keeps rising with the next difficulty levels. Also, this new feature expands consequences of such events as sickness or injury when you don't pay that much money for treatment, but you lose a lot of time for like several months in a row. And in this case, these events can damage you even more. So just, keep some money on a bank account. And speaking of the bankruptcy, let's see how bankruptcy works now that I added some new feature that will make the game easier. So let's just put all the extra money to the savings account. If we cross the month cell, you'll see that the forecast minus 3,000. Okay, and let's get there. Boom, and now I'm a bankrupt because my penalty for lack of time was higher than my cash flow. And I basically added 2 buttons, one withdraw from the bank and another take a loan. So if you have a savings account, you can just click withdraw, boom, you can keep playing. Okay, one more feature that was added is cryptocurrency. You can click on the stock button and let's try to buy some cryptocurrency. So the players used to exploit this a lot. Now let's just try it and get, some crypto. Go along. Boom. Okay, we bought some. Let's try to buy a little more. Oh, what's happened? You got scammed. The world of crypto is dangerous. At the time of purchase, you were tricked to send your money or this deal to scammers. So what's happened? Now you have a crypto risk level, which is currently high. That means that at the moment of the purchase, you can get scammed. So if you're buying, you'll lose the money that you saved for the purchase. If you're selling, you lose the amount of crypto that you were intending to sell. You can lose your entire crypto wallet in the very rare situations. Or sometimes there is an event saying crypto stock just went bankrupt. Every single player lost their crypto. So cryptocurrency is not that safe harbor anymore. In the real life, there are so many ways to invest in crypto. The game has just one crypto token. I decided to make it this way just to show how dangerous can it be for an experienced player. But how can you lower these risks? If you click at the crypto risk button, it will show you at the very end what exactly affects this risk. So right now, only easy difficulty level reduces these risks a lot. If you take some additional workshops, say you just study the very basics of crypto, even that will lower your cryptocurrency risks. And now you see that this education lowered your cryptocurrency risks, and now they're instead of high, they're just medium. What else? We added some more funny expenses, such as here. You bought a chunk of meteorite from a geologist you know, not just a rock, a cosmic rock. Simpletons won't tell it apart from an earth rock, but you know better. So all this is just a flavor text. It doesn't change the game much, but sometimes it's funny, and especially if you got tired from seeing the very same routine spending stacks over and over again, here you can find funny new lines. Now let's see what will happen if you decide to buy your dream. Travel one country in this case. Well, first of all, if you're not ready to buy your dream or if it's too expensive, even if you see this country and press cancel, it will still boost your mood. But now we're gonna buy it. First of all, please note that the current mood is 5.5 out of 6 and the stress is average. Okay, now we click buy. Boom. Congrats, you finally made your dream come true. Check the skill step in your balance to see other victory requirements. Unique advantages on your dream. Reduces stress 50% for the first 6 months. And now you see that the stress was lowered to very low, minus 45%. And if you go here, you'll see that you made your dream come true. Travel one country, and that reduces the stress a lot. It says that 50% for 6 months. This particular effect will fade away in time. The higher difficulty level is, the more expensive the dream, for longer the effect will stay. Still, it will lower the stress permanently till the end of the game, minus 10% for each difficulty level. If you buy several segments of your dream, you will lower stress even more. And now let's see what was changed in the endgame graphs. I want to win now. Now I will send my character to bankruptcy and just choose give up. So we'll see how the endgame looks like. Okay, so this is how the endgame graph looks like. Some parameters were merged, so at the same time you can see both cash and wealth. Wealth means sum of your cash and bank accounts. Here in the graph you see how old were you when this and that happened, and with the blue dots you can see that at 9 months into the game, you being 30 years old, you launched your first business. At 2 years into the game, being 31, you made your dream come true. And so these marks, they can help you to understand what exactly happened here and there. Also, income and expenses were merged, cash flow and time. So now here you can see that how your time was changing, assets and liabilities. These are the most important changes. As I said, there are lots of different tweaks which aren't really seen. If you encounter any issues, please click on the menu and report error and describe what happened. Now you can also attach a screenshot here. We are getting closer to release a full-scale multiplayer. If you're playing on Steam, you can play multiplayer already through the Steam Remote Play. You can always go to the menu about and click latest updates to see what exactly was changed in the latest versions. And if you want to see the entire history of changes, you can go to the changelog and see all the changes that were added for a longer period of time. You can also rate the game if you love it. If you feel especially generous, you can go into the game store heart icon, either buy a different map or maybe different skins, or maybe just make a one-time or monthly donation depending on, how far would you like to go in your generosity. Alright, that would be all for now. Thank you for being Timeflow players. Thank you for your interest in this project, and let's stay in touch.